We are now officially rolling. What is your first name? What is your full name?
My name is Neal Spielberg.
Okay. And where do you live?
I live in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay. Have you had any nicknames as an adult?
Yes, one of the nicknames that I've had mostly in college was Strawberry, for obvious reasons.
Okay. What's the name, the official name on your birth certificate?
Neal Gary. My name on my birth certificate is Neal Gary Spielberg.
Okay. When and where were you born?
I was born in 1956 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
And where did you live as a child?
I lived as a child in Philadelphia until I was 13, and then we moved as a family down to Miami, Florida.
Would you describe your family as poor, middle class, upper class, or very wealthy?
I describe our family as upper middle class.
Okay. What was your father's occupation?
My father in Philadelphia, my father's occupation in Philadelphia, he worked, owned a scrap metal shop with his father, and then we moved to Miami and he opened a car stereo business as well as a record store.
Okay. What was your mother's occupation?
My mother's occupation was housewife, and then also when we moved to Miami, she was a full-time partner with my father in the car stereo and music store.
Okay. What schools have you attended and where were they located?
I attended school. First in elementary school was Pennypacker Elementary School in Philadelphia, and then Thomas Fitzwater Middle School, and then we moved to Florida, to Miami. I went to South Miami Junior High and Senior High.
How many years of education have you completed?
After
restate.
Okay.
I completed
my 12 years of primary school, and then a college degree in Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science in Arts at University of Arizona.
Do you hold any postgraduate degrees?
I do not hold any postgraduate degrees.
Okay. I'm going to go into your career. As a child, what did you want to be when you grew up?
As a child, I wanted to be a sports broadcaster.
Okay. What was your first job?
My first job was as a child at 13 years old. I bagged groceries for the Pantry Pride grocery chain in South Miami.
How did you find out about the job with Ringling Brothers or Feld Entertainment?
I found out about the job with Ringling Brothers and Feld Entertainment when I was attending University of Arizona. I was interning and then ultimately working in sales at a top 40 radio station, KTKT, and my sales manager and mentor, Nancy Reynolds, was very friendly and had the client, Ringling Brothers, through a regional marketing supervisor by the name of Tom Krangle.
Okay. What was the interview like when you joined Feld? My interview
with Feld was more of a Neal, you seem to do a good job here at the radio station. We'd love to have you at Ringling after you're finished school here.
Okay. Can you describe for me your feelings when you were going through that interview and thinking about possibly joining the circus?
Well, let me just, can I say for a second? There really wasn't an interview.
Okay. Okay.
Tommy just said, you know.
Well, that's what I want you to say.
Yeah.
My interview was there really wasn't an interview.
Okay. My interview really wasn't an interview. Ringling had just bought Ice Follies and Holiday on Ice. I had called Tom once I did complete University of Arizona, and he said, your timing is perfect. There's a plane ticket waiting for you We're headed to the Bahamas to train everybody down in the Bahamas for Ice Follies and Holiday on Ice, and we need a lot more promoters quickly.
Okay. And what was the year that you had this interview?
The year I had the interview was in 1979.
Okay. What do you remember most about the marketing or the promoter job?
What I remember most about the marketing and promoter's job was, actually there were several things. It was the travel, living in a suitcase and not having a residence. The job itself, I most remember that I really felt responsible for everything except putting on the actual show. Everything from publicity to promotions to advertising and ticket sales ultimately.
Who was the person that had the most positive influence on your work while at Feld Entertainment? Who were they and what did they do?
The person I would have to say that had the most influence on my time at Ringling in a positive fashion would be Tom Krangle. He was the consummate promoter. He taught me everything about how to do my job, and he was excellent at it.
Okay. It has been said that the Ringling promoters laid the foundation for the live event marketing. Others have said that it should be studied by advertising and marketing students. What was it that you did that was so uniquely special?
Let me give that some thought for a second.
That's fine.
Okay. What I did for Feld Entertainment and Ringling Brothers that was, I considered so special, was that I felt responsible for taking this rich tradition of family entertainment and taking it to the next level in everything from creative promotions to advertising to every facet of it, and trying to come up with the most creative promotions that were sorry, I'm just
Go ahead.
I kind of know what I want to say, but I'm trying to come up with the words.
That's why it's an oral history.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Okay. What I did at Ringling and Feld Entertainment that made it unique was that taking the rich tradition of the family entertainment that Ringling provided and bringing creative ideas to it on how to take it to as many people as possible to enhance the experience of coming to a family entertainment show put on by the Felds.
Okay. Ringling's supervisors were mentors, but they were also tough. What was it like when you were being trained?
The Ringling marketing supervisors were very tough, and when I was being trained, while they were very talented and very good at teaching you what you're doing, they were very stern. They were very everything was fast. It was trial by fire.
Okay. It has been said that the Ringling promoters were a close-knit group that were almost tribal in nature. People have kept in touch over the years and maintained relationships. Was this your experience?
Over the years, the Ringling family of promoters, I have kept in close touch with several of them, and I find it an amazingly tight-knit group. While I don't talk to all of them, I have at least half a dozen close friends that I made from the Ringling family that were promoters, and I stay friends now over 30 years with them.
Okay. Can you name a few folks that you're friends with? I
Sure.
am friends with.
I am friends with, from day one, John Zamoski, Jeff Kogan, Joe Gold, just to name a few.
Okay. Being an advanced man wasn't just a job, it was a life. Would you go, you would go into cities for weeks before the circus arrived. What did that feel like? What was that experience of just being out there?
The experience of going into a city in advance, weeks at a time, was just amazing. It started with finding a place to reside while you were there. And that ranged for me, everything from hotels to rooms from an elderly woman to families that had an extra room for rent. And then it was meeting with your ad agency, meeting with your PR firm, and then getting settled in the city, and then making sure that everybody in that town knew that Ringling was coming to town.
Okay. I'm going to go a little bit off
Okay.
thing here because I want to get something else out of this.
You want
Emotionally, did you find yourself lonely? Did you find yourself with did you make friends quickly because of that? I mean, socially, how did you cope with just being out there?
The way I coped with being out in the marketplace on my own was quite simple. I was very comfortable with traveling by myself, and I found because of the Ringling name and Feld Entertainment, there was an immediate acceptance for the most part from the community, both at the professional level as well as the residents of the city.
That's good.
Can I ask you, it might be
Go ahead.
something, I don't know if you were
Go
going to
ahead.
address, going back to the promoters and the close-knit family, the practical jokes that they would play on each other?
Did with reference to the promoters and the close-knit family, were there any practical jokes?
Being a close-knit family, like many families, often some of your fellow promoters, especially when you were new, would play practical jokes on you, whether it be somebody like John Zamoski calling you on your opening night on your first show ever and imitating an Arnold Bramo and making you rather more nervous than you needed to be on your first night. Whether it would be Chris Bursky at an Anaheim, my first Anaheim show, sitting down for settlement and having both the arena manager and Chris Bursky pull revolvers out of their briefcases to let you know that this was a serious settlement. Those are just a few of the little practical jokes. And then you would look forward to doing that to the next new promoter that came up behind you.
Since you were the brunt of that particular one of the gun, you're in a settlement, and somebody pulls a gun on you and you're new and you don't know that it's not real. What was that like? What did you feel like when the gun came out?
When the practical joke was played on me, when both the arena manager and my trainer at that time pulled out guns, while there was that moment of hesitance whether this is real or whether I'm being geeked on or played on, there was that moment of fear, actually more moments of fear, and I believe there was a change of underwear shortly thereafter. But it certainly got our attention, and like I said, after you realized that this was all a prank, you couldn't wait to do it to the next person.
Reflecting on your career at Ringling and Feld, what valuable lessons did you learn from the experience?
Some of the most valuable lessons that I learned from my experience at Feld was, again, the general concept of marketing entertainment. Today in the music business, as tough as it is, I have for the last 25 years used some of those basic concepts. Everything from the PR part, where you look at a newspaper as an opportunity in all the sections of the newspaper, not just the entertainment section, to promote your show, creating a story for each editor, treating your artists when they come to town to perform a show. I take myself back to my Ringling experience, and I present it as the circus is coming to town. What am I doing to let the consumer know how that my artist is coming to town? And it's just invaluable lessons.
Speaking of your post-Feld career, what types of jobs have you had since leaving the circus?
Some of the jobs that I've had since leaving Ringling Brothers over the last 27 years have been mainly in the music business. I was also at Warner Home Video for a short period as regional director of sales, but I was senior vice president of sales at Warner Brother Records, responsible for the sales and marketing of all of our recording artists there.
Okay. And what were some of the recording artists that you worked with?
Some of the recording artists that I worked with during my time at Warner Brothers and beyond range from mostly country, but Randy Travis, Dwight Yoakam, Hank Williams Jr., Travis Tritt, Jeff Foxworthy, and Faith Hill, just to name a few.
Okay. How many times did you change your career?
Before I answer for the film, from starting before Ringling, or
no, after Ringling.
Okay.
After Ringling.
After Ringling, I've really only changed my career twice, and that was going into still in the entertainment business all this time, but going from a video sales director to a music sales director, and actually now into artist management.
Okay. Currently, do you own your own business or do you work for someone else?
I currently own my own business, which is Spielberg Entertainment.
Okay. And you said you're an artist management. Would you elaborate on that a little bit?
I am an artist manager. I work with currently with 5 musical artists, and I am responsible for their success in the sense of marketing, promoting, publicizing their careers.
Okay. Can you name some of the artists that you're currently working with?
I work currently with mostly what I would call developing acts, or baby acts as we call it in the industry. That includes a young singer. All of them, by the way, are not only singers but songwriters, and that includes Jeremy McComb, Chase Yocklin, a duo from Texas called Rose Hill, and a young lady with gigantic talent, and she's only 10 years old, by the name of Alana Springsteen.
Okay. Have you made enough money to live comfortably?
I have made enough money to live comfortably.
Okay. Have you won any special awards or prizes as an adult, and if so, what were they for?
I have won some awards, earned some awards as an adult, including various sales and marketing awards for my work with the artists that I mentioned at Warner Brothers. My most recent award would be the Ringling Star Maker Award that I received during the first ever Feld Entertainment marketing reunion.
The next section is in retrospect, Neal. What were the hardest choices that you ever had to make? And do you feel like you made the right choices?
Regarding making some of the hardest choices in my life, and my career in particular, would have to be after Ringling. I spent a short time with Warner Home Video, and I was asked to be an experiment where I was the video and audio music sales rep for Warner Electric Atlantic Distribution. As I explained to them after 6 months of doing the job, it was two complete different industries, even though it was software entertainment, and I had to make a choice, which they allowed me to do, between taking the video route and the music route. And I chose music. I never regret it. Certainly asked the question occasionally, what would have been, but I'm very happy and very assured that I made the right choice.
Okay. Was there a person that really changed the course of your life by something that they did? Who were they and what did they do?
The people, I think it's multiple. The people that probably had the biggest impact on changing my life, aside from my parents, which is obvious, would have to be, I always kind of look at, there's three people that were instrumental in my course of my career. That was an uncle of mine who is still alive at 91 and was in the music business, and I grew up watching him do what he did as head of sales for Warner Electric Atlantic in Florida, and he had a big impact on where I wanted to go with my career. The next one would be a lady by the name of Nancy Reynolds, who was my mentor at a radio station that I interned for while in college, and actually who had introduced me to Tom Krangle with Ringling Brothers Circus. And then last but not least, there was a gentleman at Warner that I worked for named Vic Faraci, who was an incredible mentor, taught me not only the record business, but how to be a better person.
Okay, the next question we kind of covered in, you covered in your answer on this one, so we're going to skip one.
Okay.
What was the happiest event in your experience with Feld Entertainment or Ringling Brothers?
There were a lot of them, but let me think.
Well, just name some.
Okay.
What stands out?
The happiest moment that I had with Feld Entertainment and Ringling Brothers would have to be my first show. While it was challenging and a bit scary at that, just going through that first show from start to finish, I was fortunate that it was in Tucson, Arizona, where I went to college, so I knew the market pretty well. But seeing it from start to finish and having a successful run, I was pretty darn happy with that.
What was the saddest moment in your experience with Ringling Brothers or Feld?
The saddest moment I had during my time with Feld would interestingly be the same show in Tucson. My first night on the show, the night before the show opened, a young man who was the first ever to do the quadruple on the trapeze died during rehearsal the first night of our show in Tucson. The net was up, his safety belt was on, the two gentlemen were holding the ropes, and unfortunately his leg got tangled as he was coming out of the quadruple, and he missed the net and hit the floor.
What was the most amazing thing that has ever happened to you?
The most amazing thing that's ever happened to me is having children. Two wonderful, wonderful children.
Okay. What has been the most stressful experience that you have lived through, and what helped you get through it?
The most stressful experience I've ever had to deal with would have to be the death of my mother, who was the first parent of mine to pass on. And the thing that helped me get through it was both my family and my friends at Warner Brother Records, where I worked at the time it happened.
Okay. Do you have, what advice do you have for your children and maybe your grandchildren?
No grandchildren yet. The best advice, the best advice that I have for my children is something that somebody taught me, which is work hard, have fun, be nice.
Do you have any regrets?
I do not have one single regret.
Okay. If you could go back and change anything in your career, what would it be?
If I could go back and change anything in my career, I thought you were going to say anything, just period, and that would be a little bit taller. I can't say that I would change anything in my career. I've been so blessed. I've worked with two of the richest, deepest tradition companies in the entertainment business, which is Ringling and Feld, and then Warner Brother Records. I couldn't be more lucky.
Okay. Well, that concludes our interview, Neal, and I want to thank you personally for participating, and this will be someday in the Ringling Museum, and you're chronicled. Okay, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Okay.